Thank you so much for staying with SABC News. This is SME on Point. Having just stepped out of Youth Month, where we featured businesses owned by young people, we thought we'd gift you with one last one. We meet the founder of Ayaka Cleaning, who was retrenched in 2020, and with her very last salary, she started a cleaning business. The story is edited by Mangoba Nkosi. When Bongeka Mnotoza, at 27 years old, lost her job in 2020, giving up was not an option. Having come from an entrepreneurial family that owned a spaza shop, she chose not to wallow in her sorrows.
With my money, I literally bought a bucket, mop, a broom, a vacuum cleaner, and I started cleaning on my own. So I started doing flyers, designing flowers using Canva. And then, because as I say, I have a PR background, so I'm very much aware of these design apps that people use or used to use when I was working. So I did my own flyers, tried to advertise myself on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. And then I found, surprisingly, my first client was Tsepo Mabona, his office. So he contacted me and said, I saw your flyer on Twitter. Could you please come and clean my office? So I went to clean his office. He was my first client.
The business grew so fast that she quickly had to get an extra pair of hands, particularly with the fight against the pandemic requiring exceptional cleanliness.
We all know that there's a phrase that says cleanliness close to godliness. So it's something that we all know that we have to stay in a clean environment. Sanitizers were being sold before even COVID, but now because of COVID, here we are now buying sanitizers. So it shows that now, as much as certain things we took them very lightly, but because of a certain pandemic, now it's teaching us the importance of making sure that each and every corner of your house is being cleaned. You know, so that is what is Ayaka representing, a quality cleaning, making sure that each and every corner of the house is dusted, is cleaned.
Mnotoza is grateful to the youth of 1976 that helped to fight for the freedom she enjoys today. But a fresh challenge stares at her and the business in the form of a third wave of COVID-19. Despite all the precautions they take as a business, the concern still remains.
So when it comes to business, I won't lie, because of our services, it's a physical service. We can't do it online, unfortunately. We can't clean online. So it is a stress that the numbers are picking up. There's a possibility of maybe going to level 5 again. So it means we will have to stand still and not work. That is unfortunate in the cleaning service because we have to be physically there to do the job, you know. So it is a stress, but for now we're trying not to put that as a stepping stone for us, but to try and push where we can. And while the economy is still open, let's try and see what we can do.
With many people still losing their jobs due to the COVID-19, Mnotoza says the period of losing her job taught her to be adaptable despite her circumstances.
Be like a chameleon. Every situation you find yourself in, try and adapt your mind, your body, and everything to that situation or in that environment. Because as you know, the reptile, if it's on a red type of environment, it will turn red. But if it's in a green type of environment, it will turn like that as well. So that is how I always try and put my mind that, okay, now I'm in this situation. I need to adapt to it, I need to grasp it so that I can be able to move. I don't also dwell much on what is happening. That is how I am as well. I try and find a solution of moving away from what I'm currently stuck in or in a situation.
Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg. So much thanks to Bongeka Mnotoza for sharing her story with SME on Point. Remember that we are on Facebook. Our handle is @SME on Point. We'd really love to hear from you. A new app that will allow creatives to earn crypto, share content, and interact with creative communities is about to be launched in South Africa. Snake Nation is a revolutionary opportunity for millennials to share in the monetization of their work and also reach a global audience. Well, to find out more about Snake Nation, Carl Carter is the CEO and tech visionary of Snake Nation, and he joins us via Zoom to tell us more about it. Carl, thank you so much for joining us on SME on Point. Firstly, Tell me more about Snake Nation and why your target is mainly millennial creatives.
Well, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. Opportunity to come talk about the company and the opportunity. We really focus on millennials because we feel like that's where the need is. We look at the creative economy globally; it's a $2.2 trillion economy, but Black and Brown creators are often not included in that economy. So our goal is to increase the share of GDP in Africa and throughout the diaspora coming from the creative economy into the pockets of Black and Brown creators. And so that's why we wanted to focus, because we felt like our stories as Black people were not being told, and that the narratives that we often find in media misrepresented. So we wanted people to be empowered to tell their own story on their own terms and earn a living in the process. And so that's the big goal of Snake Nation, is to eradicate youth unemployment and poverty utilizing the creative economy.
Yeah, so during this lockdown, I did a lot of stories looking at the creative economy, and I can tell you there is money there and there is a lot of talent there. But cryptocurrencies, Carl, are really gaining momentum the world over. But maybe in Africa, in South Africa, they still have not reached the kind of target that they maybe could be reaching. Why are you targeting cryptocurrencies as a form of a reward and not a traditional currency?
Well, you know, spending time in media, you realize that a lot of creators are not at the level where their work can be licensed out to traditional media outlets like SABC. So for those at the height of their game, then there will be opportunities to work with us to license out their work, or work with us as we take on brand partners to execute challenges or execute assignments. And so there will be traditional opportunities. But to make sure that everybody has an opportunity, we created a currency called Venom, VNM, and it's basically geared to social media activity. So post creation, likes, shares, reshares, all of those have value. Commenting, all our usual everyday social media activities that we participate in, but none of us are compensated for. And so when we looked at it and say, well, actually, young people drive, young people drive the creative economy, young people drive technology, but we're just not seeing them included. And so Venom was a way for us to create a seamless sort of cross-border payment system, so that if someone drops a track in Cape Town, someone in Brooklyn can like it, share it, post it. So we realized that we really needed to create our own currency and, frankly, lean into some of the trends we're seeing here on the continent around mobile money and obviously, you know, digital wallets and these sort of things, which we see actually Africa leapfrogging other areas of the world in those areas. So we think some of the pieces of the puzzle are here. We just need a currency that's geared for us, by us. So that's why Venom was created.
As I said previously, Carl, that the creative economy is quite huge. What opportunities can you see for the youth, particularly the youth here in South Africa that's wallowing in unemployment, to build sustainable careers out of this app or something like this?
Yes. Well, you know, I think ultimately right now we're in a beta, so, you know, people are coming on board, they're earning Venom. You know, we're creating off-ramps for that Venom so people can utilize it. And so those are the things that are in progress in the beta. So experiences, you know, merch, things of that nature will be a part of it, as well as the ability, once we do our public sale, the ability for people to then to exchange that for fiat currency. So in our big vision, someone should be able to post content of their own choice, of their own creative freedom, share that with their peer community, and then be able to get a reward from that lives in their wallet that can be deployed for necessity. And so this is something that we see as an opportunity, because so many people, whether or not you're talking about here in Africa or back in the States or throughout the diaspora, lack all the necessary machinery to actually get their work out into the traditional creative economy.
Yeah.
So that's why so, you know, we know, like, you don't have the manager, you don't have the agent. So, and even if you do, it's still a mad hustle in Hollywood. And most people will not be able to participate. So we really look at what's happening here in South Africa as a trade imbalance for content. So if people are interested in creating opportunities for young people in the creative economy, then I would challenge all of the great media outlets out there in South Africa to work with us to help empower more young creators.
Yeah.
And so Snake Nation does that work of being on college campuses. We're on 52 college campuses right now with Creative Society. We have a space in Cape Town called Black Unicorns, which is out in Hout Bay. It's a space for Black and brown tech founders and creators, because we know Cape Town can be kind of hectic if you're Black and brown and you're tech scene. We experienced that ourselves, so we made our own. So people, places, and platforms are our pillars, and those are the services that we bring to our community with the goal of, again, of creating creative and economic freedom. And listen, you know, this is a long journey. We didn't get here overnight, so it's going to take time. But, you know,
it will eventually get there.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And especially with the right partnerships in place.
Carl, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure that you will be able to download this via iOS or even Android if you have, and please try it if you are in the creative economy. Who knows, we might be seeing your creative content being viewed all across the world. Well, that is all from SME On Point for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Do remember to support small businesses in your community and keep the rands and cents circulating around your communities.